Blog Talk Radio.
Across the country and around the world, streaming live on the internet, it's Real Estate Coaching Radio, bringing you the latest news, interviews, and secrets of the top producers. Hosted by award-winning real estate coaches, Tim and Julie Harris. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Tim Ventura, filling in for Tim and Julie Harris, and this is Real Estate Coaching Radio, your voice for unfiltered, full-strength truth in real estate today. Tim and Julie are taking a well-deserved break from the show this week. They will return next week, and in the meantime, we are talking about some topics that you're absolutely going to love. So today is July 1st. We are closing in on the day here, and I'll tell you, up here in the Seattle area where I'm at, we've got some absolutely beautiful summer weather. Now, this is a live show, so if you want to tell me about what your weather is like, or if you have questions for today's guest, give me a call at 347-857-1195, or write me at questions@realestatecoachingradio.com. Today we are going to be talking about Happy Grasshopper, a product that provides some pretty powerful follow-up solutions for salespeople. And Celeste Grupman is joining us from Happy Grasshopper to explain why agents should really be using this in their business. But before we get to Celeste, if you do want to schedule a free coaching call, I'm on the roster, so visit freecoachingcallsforagents.com and schedule your appointment today. There is no catch, no gimmicks. Just pick a time for you, click schedule, and it only takes a minute to do that, but the results will last you a lifetime. Now let's welcome our guest, Celeste Grupman, who can tell us a little bit more about Happy Grasshopper. Celeste, welcome to the call.
Hi, Tim. Thanks so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You know, Tim and Julie Harris love Happy Grasshopper. This is a product that Tim was telling me about just the other day. He said that they have gotten a lot of use out of this, and their coaching students also have. And so when we were discussing potential show topics, Tim said, well, you know, you should really do something on Happy Grasshopper so people understand, you know, how they could fit this into their business. So let me start out by asking you if you could provide me kind of with an overview of what Happy Grasshopper is and maybe who your perfect customer is.
Absolutely, Tim. You know, Happy Grasshopper, you know, we use the word email marketing a lot because that's generally what people think of when we tell them what we do. But it's not really marketing. It's a keep-in-touch service to help any salesperson stay top of mind with their sphere of influence. And we created it about 3.5 years ago, really just on a hunch that we could help people do a better job with their keep-in-touch. People have been trying to do this for years. They send holiday greetings. They send cards. They send newsletters. And typically that space has been filled with a lot of stuff that's pretty junky. It's a lot of asking for referrals. You know, it's a classic example of the Christmas message that says, I'm grateful for your referrals. How about I'm grateful for our friendship? So we really worked to build a system that would allow people to keep in touch in a much more personal way and really lead with that friendship over leading with, I'd like your referrals or I'd like to stay top of mind with you. And ever since then, it's worked out great. Our perfect customer is a salesperson who really wants to build their business on referral. So somebody who's really interested in growing their sphere, really interested in connecting with that sphere and making them feel like the friends they are. Those are our perfect customers.
Okay. Well, it's interesting when you described that. That reminds me of a quote, and offhand, I don't remember who said this, but they said there has been a sea change in the way people purchase things. They said today's customer loves to buy, but they absolutely hate to be sold. I don't know if I agree with that 100%. But I'll tell you one thing that's for sure is when you were talking about like the holiday gift cards where it says, I love your referrals, I think that definitely salespeople, I think all of us push, right? We want to sell. We want to get those new customers, and sometimes it's easy to cross that line and actually end up turning people off. Does that kind of sound like one of the things you're addressing?
There's so much advice to salespeople, and we we all get this drilled into our head every day. Like, always be closing, make sure to ask for referrals. And that's great advice. But if you do that constantly with your friends, it really tarnishes that relationship. And, top of mind awareness is a funny thing. I always use this example, and because it resonates so well with everybody. We've all had the experience of seeing somebody that we haven't seen in years at the grocery store or at a baseball game, and, you talk to them for 5 minutes, and it's great catching up, and the next day they call you and say, hey, my neighbor's looking to sell their house. Here's their contact information. And that referral didn't happen because there was some kind of kismet there. That referral happened because they saw you after a long time. They remembered your business. And they probably had other referrals that they could have made over those other years, but they just didn't, they didn't get there. So we don't have to push so hard. We just need to make sure that we remain in their vicinity so that they don't forget about us.
Yeah. And what I was thinking was also that referral didn't happen because they have a refrigerator magnet that says your referral's welcome on the bottom, right? So
it didn't. And they just saw you. They liked you already. They were happy to do it, but they weren't doing it before because they weren't thinking about you.
Well, how did the idea for Happy Grasshopper start? What really inspired the founder of this company to launch it? And again, 3.5 years, so I guess this would have been right around 2011, right?
October of 2010. Dan and I started the company, and we actually did it on a hunch. Dan Stewart had owned a CRM company for many years before, and I had actually worked for him as a consultant. And the CRM service, it was a white label solution sold actually through the coaching community. And what we were helping our clients do is really create these custom email campaigns. And during that time, we ran across a real estate coach, and he said, my agents, your tool's great, but they need help with the content. They really need help with creating stuff, and the stuff that, we typically see that we're modeling ourselves after is just not right. So Dan actually had the opportunity to sell that company, and we were looking around, and we said, well, let's test this hunch. Let's put some things out there and see, what we can actually get results with. And so we started sending a lot of email for folks, and we really zeroed in on a formula of how to write a greeting that is going to get opened often, responded to often, and is going to generate that warm response that we're looking for from our sphere.
Well, if I could interject for a second, one of the things that I really liked about, going through Happy Grasshopper was the fact that there are templated kind of baseline boilerplate messages that people can use, and they can customize those, if need be. But the thing that I like that is, doing marketing myself, and every marketing person I've ever worked with has this problem too. It's not email number one that's difficult. It's email, number 101. And so then the problem becomes, okay, how do I keep this fresh and creative, and I don't really have time to sit down and focus on it either. So that was one of the things that I like about Happy Grasshopper is you guys, not only do you have a formula, but you've created it looks like hundreds of templates that people can use to put that into action.
Absolutely. When we were working on the formula to get this right, we knew that we needed a couple of elements. We needed consistency. Any other marketing program, if you're not willing to commit day in and day out to it, it's just not going to work, or it's going to start to work, and just as it starts to work, you're going to get busy. And then we also wanted to add freshness. So, there's a lot of systems out there that provide a lot of canned content. But that content sits around, and, I've written canned content in my time, and it's really hard to keep that stuff smelling fresh. And so the messages that we provide to our users are actually about things that are going on here and now. The content in our system that you're going to find today, you won't see it there next week, next month. So, and it's going to be about stuff that's relevant in people's lives, and that's one of the reasons for our engagement.
Yeah, I think that's especially good, too. I mean, email is one of those things that tends to get passed around, right? And, that and like you've said, it goes stale very fast. And maybe that's just because today's information economy has so much change and transition in it. But, stuff that sounds right today might not sound right tomorrow. So you're saying that you guys basically constantly, update and replenish this then?
Absolutely. We don't always talk about real estate. Like I said, our clients run the gamut. This is not a tool just for real estate agents. We have financial planners, we have voiceover artists, we have bankers, we have doctors, we have dentists. And our content isn't about dentistry or real estate. It's about stuff that's going on in the here and now. That's the stuff that's interesting to folks right now. That's the stuff that's going to create those conversations. That's also what helps our clients feel very authentic, because we know that while they're realtors and real estate is a very huge part of their life, that they're also people and they find other things interesting. So every conversation that they have with their sphere doesn't need to be about interest rates or the change in property values over the last 3 months.
Sure. Well, and hopefully, I guess I almost thought of that as off-topic messages, but yeah, it helps to humanize the agent, right? And that's one of the things that I've noticed. I'm on several, mailing lists, just the personal mailing list for agents. And, of course, what you're talking about is known in the industry as nurturing, right, where you're sending them a periodic drip message of some type or other just to keep the person engaged and kind of keep yourself on the tip of their tongue. And the thing that always troubles me is if those nurturing campaigns are too focused, then it starts to look fake, right?
Well, yeah, that's no longer nurturing. That's marketing. And there's a place for marketing in every salesperson's toolkit, but when it comes to your sphere, you got to handle those folks with friend gloves. They don't want to be sold to. They're going to hire you when the time is right, hopefully. And what you need to do with those people is just let them know that the relationship is very important to you.
Okay. So it's not targeted, and that goes to something that I saw repeatedly, where if you have marketing messages, there's a strong call to action. So they read the message, and it says, okay, do this now. Here's why. This is the benefit. And with what you're doing, it's more of a, hey, how are you going? How are you doing? Here's something interesting, and it kind of draws them in, but maybe not providing that strong call to action, and that would be maybe the difference.
Absolutely. Everybody is not, selling real estate is not like selling Snuggies or concert tickets, right? Like everybody isn't always looking to buy a house. And so if you send repeatedly calls to action to come search for homes on your website or to check out mortgage rates or to look at this new program to somebody who's not actively searching for a home right now, all you're going to do is teach them to ignore you. So,
yeah,
so when
it turns
it
them
is
off.
time, they're not going to get it. And it might not make them angry. You know, hopefully these are your friends. They realize you're just trying to be a responsible business person. But it is going to teach them to ignore you. Because when we send stuff to people, you know, we talk about relevancy. I hear people all the time saying, well, this isn't relevant to my business. And I say, no, but it's relevant to the people who you're sending it to because they're people of the world and they like to laugh and they get touched by human interest stories and they celebrate the 4th of July. And so these are things that are interesting to them because they might not be interested in real estate right now. It's great to send that occasional market update. It's great to send out a notice if something's going on in your community that affects homeowners. You know, you should be that person who's providing that information, but you don't have to do it every week, every month.
Well, yeah, and you know, and the other thing is taking into account when folks read this, right? They get home from work, they're tired, they're trying to relax, they're going through their emails, and so, you know, the last thing that they want is a solicitation, basically. Whereas with nurturing, it helps them relax and it draws them in. It sounds kind of like that's what you're describing.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, let me back up a second here and go back to kind of the question written up here, why email? Because I think that email has gotten a bad name over the last few years, you know, and that started with the canned spam compliance laws, and I think that email started to the reputation started to go downhill after that. But I think another part of that is, you know, with the rise of social networking, the Facebooks and the LinkedIns and things like that, I think that there's a perception among people that I want to be working my social network, but I don't want to be using it. So you have a quote on the website from the Direct Marketing Association, and they're talking about marketing emails. But for those, they say that for every $1 spent on email marketing, there's a $40 return on investment. Can you tell me anything about that?
Absolutely. I mean, that statistic is, I think from January of this year. It's a very new statistic. It's not from 10 years ago. And, yeah, I mean, email has not been the new kid on the block or the cool, shiny object for a really long time now, right? We used to love it. We used to make movies about it. But, you know, everybody has email. It's not fresh or interesting, so people stop talking about it a lot. But email, you know, remains the number one business tool, the number one tool that anybody uses on their smartphone or their computer. Everybody still has an email address. It's the thing that gets checked before Facebook in the morning when people wake up most often. And email is an interesting tool because when you're talking about Facebook, you're talking about a communication that is one-to-many, right? You're posting, and it's very obvious to the world that you're sending this out to everybody. Whereas email is a one-to-many a one-to-one communication that you can automate out to many. So when you send somebody an email, it's a conversation that's private between you and that person. So when we were launching this tool, one of the things we wanted to find out is if we could create better engagement actually through email than we could through social media. And so we did a lot of testing, and, you know, we would post things on Facebook and we would get 25 replies, and we would send that email out to the same group of people and we would get 10 times the response rate. There is something that happens when you reach out. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had the same response, and you know, it seems like in the social networks, you know, it's a different type of engagement, I suppose, and so I've definitely had the same response that you're describing. Email seems to work very predictably and very scalably, whereas with social networking, it often seems more hit or miss, I guess.
Absolutely. And social networking is amazing. It seems like we kind of have this one or the other mentality often, and it doesn't need to be that way. If you have an active Facebook page, if you really enjoy your social, your Twittering, if you really like to engage on LinkedIn, that's fantastic. And there's no reason that email can't layer nicely on top of those other activities. There are different mediums, and you're going to be able to engage a different section of your audience in those different places.
Wonderful. Well, Celeste, we are going to come back and discuss integration, not just with social media, but I'd also like to touch on CRMs and things like that. But we need to take a quick commercial break first, so we'll see you and our entire audience on the other side.
Is coaching right for you? And how can I guarantee it will work for me? Chances are you are asking yourself those questions right now. I'll answer those critical questions for you in just a moment. But first, let's be honest about something you may have always suspected. You've probably always known that the nation's top 1% of realtors, those millionaire agents you see on TV, they possess a secret knowledge that the other 99% of agents do not have. Where did they learn what they know? And more importantly, how did they learn how to put this closely guarded information into money-making action? It's simple. They have a coach. Not just any coach. The nation's mega millions, top 1% of the realtors know that in order to maintain their almost unfair advantage, that they must have their own personal coach. A proven, market-tested coach who has truly walked in their shoes, a coach who has worked with many of the nation's leading agents. At this point, you're probably ready to maybe try coaching. However, you don't want to be unfairly locked into a long-term ball and chain that coaching contracts can give you. It just makes sense that you should be able to try it before you buy it. Even more importantly, you want to have a coach who is the best of the best. Not someone who is simply assigned to you, or even worse, has never sold real estate. Can you imagine? If this is you, I have something for you right now that is exactly what you have been looking for. For the next 48 hours, Tim and Julie Harris Real Estate Coaching is offering you a free coaching call. This is a real coaching call with a real Tim and Julie Harris coach. Now, while you are thinking about it, why don't you visit us online at freecoachingcallsforagents.com to get started. Once again, that is freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Now, let's be clear. This exclusive coaching opportunity is only available for the first 50 realtors who are stone cold serious about their real estate business and know that in order to succeed at the highest level, they must hire a coach. So don't wait any longer. Take action now and visit us again at freecoachingcallsforagents.com to schedule your free coaching call. Again, that's freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Thanks so much. See y'all soon.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm Tim Ventura, filling in for Tim and Julie Harris, and this is Real Estate Coaching Radio. We are talking with Celeste Grupman from Happy Grasshopper, and she has been explaining to us how this unique email nurturing technology for salespeople can really help build relationship over time, and how it can start conversations with people without being salesy. Now, Celeste, one of the things that we were talking about just before the break was CRMs and social media. I kind of threw CRMs into it. I'm wondering if you could tell me about integration there.
Absolutely. For Happy Grasshopper, we have integrations with several tools, but this is a great tool that you really don't need to monitor on a regular basis. It's something that you want to use with your sphere. Your sphere is growing every month. It absolutely should. And so the way the system works is every 3 weeks we send out a notification to you that says, hey, there's new content waiting for you. Our clients log into the system and they see those 10 unique messages that are about stuff going on right now. If you logged into our system today, you're going to see some stuff about 4th of July. You're going to see some human interest stories. You're going to see some appointment setting messages. So you've got a variation of stuff picked from. You'll be able to edit that message before it goes out, and then you'll be able to update your database. So what you want to do is add people that you've met out networking that month. You're going to want to add past clients to that, new folks that you want to start building a relationship with, and then that message is going to go out. And the only monitoring that it really needs is that you need to watch your inbox, because you're going to get replies every single time one of these messages goes out. And I think that's the thing that shocks our clients so much. The first time they use their service is they go, oh, my God, I've been sending a newsletter for 10 years to these 400 people. I've never gotten a single reply, and I got 40. And so, yeah, so that's really, that's the integration that you need to really focus on, is that every time one of these messages goes out, you're going to have a lot of people replying back. And, for this to really work, you're going to then have to make the next step and reply back and keep that conversation going.
Yeah, and I was thinking that and this would be something I might struggle with. Get that reply back, resisting the urge to instantly launch into your sales pitch.
Absolutely, and it's funny, though, because the replies that you're going to get back are going to be so personal that it's going to be easier for you to step into those friend shoes, because it's going to be somebody replying to a message about 4th of July that says, saying, oh, my son is still in Afghanistan, and thanks so much for remembering our veterans. You're going to get those kinds of things, and then it's so easy to say, oh, yeah, these are my friends. These are people who I care about. So it's actually a great way to be able to step away from that sales and just say, hey, let's build some relationships.
Okay, well, in terms of bringing people into the tool now, is this something where, like you'd mentioned the database, right? And that's, again, the past client center of influence, the sphere of influence. There are many different names for it, but I actually like the word database. I think that Valerie Fitzgerald, who is a very top producing Hollywood agent and broker, she calls it database. How do you get that into the tool? Can you import that from like your CRM, or do you need to kind of load that in as a list?
We have several ways to do that. So we do integrate with several CRMs, not all of them on the market. If you need some help with that, what we find is a lot of agents have those contacts in 5 or 6 places. They're not just in one place. So they're in your MLS, and then you have a few just in your Outlook or your Gmail, and then you have like another database that you've got from your networking group. And so what we provide is what we call white glove service. And there's actually folks that you can call who will answer the phone right away, and they'll help you sort through those contacts. They'll help you pick the right group of people to send to. They'll help you organize them, sync those CRMs that do sync or do the exports that you need, and get those contacts uploaded and clean and fresh and ready to send for you. So we really wanted to provide that high-quality service. We think that it's something that, more and more often these days, it's hard to find a phone number on a tech company's website, and we really wanted to make it easy for our clients to get started.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know that's something that Tim and Julie Harris are giant on as well, is, the customer service aspect of it. And, I'm glad to hear that that's such an important part of your business as well, because I know for agents, agents come from all sorts of technical backgrounds and have different degrees of knowledge, and quite frankly, most agents aren't technical people. They come into it as a sales profession from all over the place. So it's good to hear that you provide that, that one-on-one service for them.
Absolutely. We're happy to do it.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask about was acknowledgement messages, and I'm a little bit fuzzy on these, but would an acknowledgement message be, like, for instance, if someone emails me, or maybe they use a contact form on my website and they say, Tim, I'd like to know more about this or that, or, hi, my name is Bob, I'm interested in real estate. The acknowledgement message, then, that would be more of a reply, right, to say, we got your message. Is that describe how you approach those?
Absolutely. And so what we're moving away from is we've been talking about our core service, Happy Grasshopper, and that's our sphere engagement tool. What you're moving into when you start talking about acknowledgement messages and leads generated on your website, or maybe you're using a service like Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com, that is a product that is kind of a newer product for us. It's called Position Me. And so with that product, our clients were so happy with the engagement we were able to help them with their sphere that they started saying, hey, can you help me with my lead conversion? Can you do the same thing with my web leads? Because it's sometimes really difficult to get those folks on the phone. And so with that product, you just mentioned acknowledge. We follow a system of acknowledge, position, or capture, acknowledge, position, and nurture. So with that product, we're especially talking about integrations. We've actually set up a system that will help our agents capture leads from all over the web. So whether you're getting leads from Tiger Leads or Trulia or Zillow, or on your website, or at open houses, we can pull those leads in automatically into our system and start conversations with them. And the first part of that is just acknowledging immediately when that lead comes in that, hey, there's a real person, they're on the way, we've got your information, and they'll be calling you shortly. Your business is really important to us. And that sounds really basic, but it's sometimes a lot easier to say than it is to put into practice. So we've really made that easy for our clients.
Oh, yeah. No, I think, and that timely follow-up, and I think they say voice follow-up, right, with a call back, but, email follow-up as well. And, the sooner they get it, and I think the more polished and it is, the better in terms of response. And from what I've read, it's yeah. Well, so it's good to know then that if people come in the door using Happy Grasshopper, so to speak, you do have other products to kind of extend those capabilities out there. Well, I want to switch gears just a little bit. Can Happy Grasshopper send different messages to people based on their interests? And I guess this would apply maybe to acknowledgement, but also to the nurturing campaigns as well. If I have a customer, Bob, and he likes fishing, right? That's his thing. Is there some way to mark him in the system for messages related to that?
There isn't. And the reason for that, Tim, is the messages that we send are really about things that are going on right now. So instead of telling our users, hey, you need to slice and dice your database into 15 different groups and send this targeted message to each different group, we say, hey, everybody in your database, they're a human, and they care about the stuff that's going on in the world right now. And they're also interested in a lot of stuff that you don't know they're interested in. So by giving a variation over the year and a lot of things to choose from, and leading with things that you're interested in as well. When you're coming into our system and you're picking these messages, you should be picking the things that are appealing to you, because it's going to be very authentic, and it's going to help you continue to have those conversations with people. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of watching a commercial or seeing an advertisement and getting really excited about a product or a service or company, and then you interact with them for the first time, and it's completely different than what you got excited about, and there's a real turnoff there, right? So, hey, I'm Bob, and I love fishing, and you've been sending me all these articles about fishing, and then I want to have a conversation with you, and you've never held a rod in your life. So,
I see.
We really wanted
we
want to help people start conversations and find those commonalities, find those things that we all share and we all care about. Savvy marketers have known this for years. It's why Coca-Cola has polar bears in their advertising, and they focus so much on Santa. They really find those shared human experiences and say, us too, we care about the same things, and we share the same values. And that's one of the biggest things that we have to tap into to build trust is, hey, what do we have in common?
Well, and that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, ultimately, Happy Grasshopper is about building and maintaining that trust, which can be a real challenge because, it's possible, depending on how that relationship began when you first met them, and then, you may not see them for months, right? So that sounds
Absolutely.
like what, yeah,
when we
trust
started,
tool.
Tim, so many of our clients were having to approach folks that they had sold homes to a year or a year and a half previously and help them with a short sale. And that's not happening as much anymore, which is great, But those were really tough times, and it was hard for them to figure out how to approach those conversations. And we said, hey, you know what? You were their friend then, you're their friend now, and you're going to help them. So, let's just say, hey, I'm still here for you. And it had a tremendous, and it still does.
Well, now, in terms of the way the messages actually appear, do they have, because I know that like our CRM, it puts unsubscribe and can spam compliance links into the messages. Is that something, do those require them because they're one-to-one and they're not bulk? Or is that something that's required and you've handled it in kind of a different way?
No, we help our clients put the CAN-SPAM compliance and the unsubscribes in all of our messages. We really believe in that. There's a lot of systems that are coming out now, and they're saying, well, hey, these, especially these autoresponders that go out when somebody, first opts into a website, they say, we're just automating this for people, but I think it's really important to respect the fact that somebody might not want to get email. And so I think, often we're kind of scared about people unsubscribing for our campaigns, but I look at that as an opportunity to have another conversation, as an opportunity to say to somebody, hey, I saw you unsubscribed from my newsletter. That's no problem, but I wanted to know what's the best way for me to reach out to you. Are you still interested? So it does give you an opportunity to really show that you're respectful of them and to have a conversation about how you can help them better.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Well, now, if they're using other email, and again, I should apologize if I'm digging too deep into the technical aspects of that. Part of it's my bent, but I'm also interested in how it works with things. And now, if they're using another email, how would they work this? How would they use Happy Grasshopper? And again, this goes for me because we have, different email systems for different things. The CRM has one built in. The acknowledgement messages come through a different system. Is that something that a lot of people do? Do they use it with other systems?
Oh, absolutely. Many of our clients send other email communications. Many of them use like a market snapshot or type product, or they still do send their real estate newsletter. They like this as that personal touch along with the other information that they're sending. And the nice thing about our system is we use the same technology that all the big email marketing companies are going to use. Is called an email spoof. And so when our messages go out, even though we're using our servers to send them so that we get that high deliverability rate and we're able to get into the inbox, we're still using your email signature. So when somebody replies to you, it's just going to go back into your Gmail account or your Outlook account, wherever you're used to checking your email. So all you're really having to do is monitor, hey, these replies are coming in, and, hey, my message has been sent because I'm getting this stuff, and start having those conversations. There's a new, some new stuff came out recently. AOL and Yahoo started blocking the technology that we used to send. So for those clients, we provide another email address that they can use if they only have an AOL or Yahoo email address. So that's another thing that we encourage real estate agents to do if they haven't already, move to a branded email. It really is something that would be great for your business. And we can also help you, set something up like that if that's what you're wanting to do.
Oh, okay. And then you guys provide statistics for users as well, right?
We do. For every message that you send, we're going to tell you who opened it, which messages bounced, who unsubscribed from that message, who clicked on a link in that message. And you'll be able to really, dive in and say, hey, so-and-so is really engaging, or this person hasn't opened 4 of my last 6 messages. I wonder if their email address changed or something changed in their life because they used to open it. So it's really a way to kind of look in and say, hey, so-and-so's been, really engaging here. Maybe I should give them a phone call, or so-and-so kind of fell off and they used to engage a lot. I wonder if something changed.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, Celeste, I'm getting ready to close things up. I really appreciate your bearing with me, especially with some of the technical questions. I don't want to bore the audience to tears, so I think the note to leave them on is that this is about trust and nurturing and creating that relationship, maintaining that relationship. But I'm wondering, do you have any close thoughts for folks?
I use this in my own business. I have for years. I've seen how powerful it is for our clients, and so whether they decide to, try out Happy Grasshopper or to kind of go this on their own, think about who's in your sphere. There's 200 people who would send you referrals or do business when they had a chance, and find more ways to engage with them on a regular basis. Consider using email. It's a fantastic way to do it. It's cheap. It's easy. It provides a lot of data that you really can't get most other places. And, we hear it time and time again from our clients. They're like, wow, I sent this message and somebody who, I haven't talked to in 3 years is reaching out to me about buying a home or selling a home. And, if you're looking for something that could instantly improve your business, dive into your old email accounts, dive into that shoebox of old business cards, figure out who's in your sphere, and start reaching out, because it really will have a huge impact on your business.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Celeste, thank you again for your time. And to everyone in our audience, thank you again for your time as well. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We are again closing in on the July 4th holiday, and so, if you do get involved with Happy Grasshopper, this might be a good time to do it. Do a little bit of holiday nurturing there.
Absolutely. You could sign up for the free trial on our site, and you could send a 4th of July message on 4th of July. It'll take you about half an hour to get that organized, and it's a great way to test it out and get back in touch with people, especially over this holiday.
Oh, wonderful. And the URL for that is happygrasshopper.com, and we're going to put that up online so everyone will be able to access it there. But, again, it's happygrasshopper.com. Well, Celeste, thank you again for your time. And to everyone on today's show, thank you as well, and I will talk to everyone tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks so much, Tim.
This program has been a presentation by Tim and Julie Harris, Real Estate Coaching. For more information on our real estate coaching and training programs, visit our website at timandjulieharris.com. Remember to tune in weekdays at noon for upcoming shows, and until next time, thank you for listening to Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.